Tavi and the writing prompt is due today. So if you don't have that turned in, it'd be good if you went. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Wait. Oh, now you can see it. Okay, sorry guys. So Ricky Tiki Tavi, think questions and writing prompts are due today. If you haven't got that in yet, go ahead today and before the end of the day, turn that in. Or if you need help with it, come to our support hours and we'll help you submit it. Also, we have some reminders. I sent out an email last week asking your parents to say yes or no if I could record our lessons for my student teaching so my professor can evaluate how I teach. So if you could get your parents to fill in those slips so I could get that turned in by the end of the week, I'd really appreciate that. And then also today, Mrs. Hunter is recording me. So what she has is the video is pinned to record and show just my face. So I just wanted to share that with you, just so you guys are aware of that, but also not for you to not to worry, because the viewer, which is my professor, won't be able to see you. He'll just be able to see me so he can evaluate me. So today we're going to be reading, oh, this is not the slide. It says September 30th, sorry. There we go. So today we'll be reading a first read of Barrio Boy. I'll show you a little bit of an introduction on him that shows his journey traveling as an immigrant from Mexico to California here in the United States. During that reading, we're going to annotate just like we did in Ricky Tiki Tavi. Yeah, we're going to annotate. We're going to do 5 annotations like we did last week for Ricky Tiki Tavi 2. We're going to write a summary. We'll start that together. We'll do the annotations together a little bit in class. And then you'll have an easy CBM for vocabulary that you have to do today for your asynchronous work. And turn that in before or by Thursday, October 8th. And so if you don't mind grabbing out your planner so you could write that in, so you could use this as your point of reference to make sure that you get those turned in on time. So pull out your planners, please. Today's October 6th, Tuesday. We're gonna write summary of Barrio Boy. Easy CBM, vocab, due Thursday. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Cool. Good job, Nick. Thank you. And so once you're done with that, we're going to go to Canvas. We're going to go to current modules. So this week, and then the days is we're going to look at the week at a glance overview. So today will be our day 1. We're going to be doing the first read of Barrio Boy, and we're going to do some annotations together. And your independent work is to work on our summary format and to turn in your easy CBM vocab. And then on Thursday, we're going to do a close read of Barrio Boy, and we're gonna respond to a writing prompt. And then for you to work independently, you're going to finish that writing prompt and then work on your Easy CBM reading comprehension. And that needs to be turned in this week. Then on Friday, we have clubs, but we also have our small group sessions for periods 1 through 3 from 8:55 to 9:40. And then the second one is from 9:50 to 10:35. So if you need to work on anything or you have questions about stuff, make sure that you go to those small group tutorings. And so today, today and for tomorrow, Thursday, we have some extension assignments. One is on the background of where Ernesto Galarza, that's the main character in Barrio Boy, that's where he grew up. And then the second one is a link to like a few pictures of the Lincoln School where he attends, and you get to just see pictures of him and then the school. And then we have a third one, which is to help you for independent reading. We have some links. So if you could just press next. So day one plan. So our goal today is that I could use annotation strategies, which is our questioning, tracking, and responding to the text to help me better understand my reading. This week we'll start the first read of Barrio Boy. We're gonna annotate the reading together using the annotation guide. We're gonna make predictions about new vocabulary, break down complex parts of the text using reading comprehension strategy and annotation to understand what drives Ernesto to undertake a mission. Because remember, we had an essential question last week that helped us determine what Rikki Tikki Tavi's mission was and what drove him. So we're going to be doing the same thing for Ernesto, our main character in Barrio Boy. And so these tools are going to help us dig further and have a deeper understanding of the text. And then after you read the story, you're supposed to watch Study Sync TV and listen to the discussion that the students are having in that video about Ernesto. It's also going to help you for our close reading on Thursday. So once you watch that, make sure you press submit at the bottom of the Study Sync TV tab. So down below here, it shows you that we're going to be, our asynchronous work will be working on Barrio Boy summary and submitting that, and also the Easy CBM vocab. And the extensions at the bottom of the Canvas page is just a little bit more what I talked about, Ernesto's like where he originated from, where he grew up, the Lincoln schools, you can look at those pictures. But then number 3, here's the links for the independent reading. So Timberline website tour, there's a direct link to that, so you could check that out. And then also some ebook links, and then Mrs. Matthews' library course. And so then I'm gonna click next, as should you. And so down here, we're gonna just look at what the essential question is really quick before we get into Study Sync. So we're asking, what is it that drives us to undertake a mission? Is it to pursue a goal regardless of the risks? And is achieving that goal as important as what we learn on the mission to accomplish it? And so while we annotate Barrio Boy in the first read, we're going to be looking at words that are unfamiliar to us and questioning it and determining their meaning based on the sentence and the words and the activities that's happening around it, and also about things that are confusing to us. And then we're going to track Ernesto's goal and how he changes from the beginning of the text to the end, and if he accomplished that goal, And we're also going to respond. So it's responding to something in the text where you maybe made a connection personally, or it reminded you of something that happened in history, or maybe, I don't know, a movie, or just anything that you could respond with. And then a reminder again, you have to have at least 5 annotations within the text turned in today during class. And so if you could navigate over here to the side where you open up your study sync book, and once you open that, can you please let me know when you're all the way in the chat, please? Click on the spheres. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon's there. Okay, I need a few more people to let me know when they're there. Peyton's there. Thank you, Jake. Good job. Thank you. Sophie. Okay, so when you're there and it says welcome back and then your name, down here you'll see where mine doesn't show it, but yours should say first read Barrio Boy. If you click on that and open that up while I get mine open. Oh yeah, so we're going to study sync. We're going to open up our first read of Barrio Boy right now if you're just coming in. All right. So we have 3 different tabs here. Yours should say intro, read, study sync TV. So our introduction. Ernesto Galarza was a Mexican-American union leader and writer who spent most of his life fighting for the rights of farm workers in Barrio Boy. Galarza tells the story of how he immigrated to California and successfully navigated the public school system. The excerpt is about Galarza's first experience in an American school. So while we watch this little introduction video, I want you to think of how it would feel moving to a new school and not knowing anybody. If you know how that feels, then you'll kind of know how Ernesto feels. You'll kind of know how Ernesto feels. So just keep that in mind, and I'm gonna play the introduction video for you, okay?
Bogotá, Mexico, the early 20th century. In the midst of the Mexican Revolution, young Ernesto Galarza and his family must give up their farming lifestyle to escape the uncertainties of their war-ridden village. From small towns to cities, and eventually to his first public school in America, Ernesto experiences cultural transition firsthand. Amidst racial tension and the uncertainty of American life, Ernesto overcomes these hardships for his family. Vivid memoir by Ernesto Galarza.
Okay, so hopefully you were able to hear that. So now click on number 2 where it says read. And when you go to the read, make sure you split your screen so we could look at our notes while we track the text and read along with the narrator. And then just another helpful tool to put on your numbers tab up here, make sure that's yellow. So again, we're questioning what's unfamiliar words, some confusing passages. We're gonna track Ernesto's goal and how he changes from the beginning of the text and to the end, and then just making some connections and respond to the text, okay? So I'm going to play the audio for the narrator for the first few paragraphs, and then I'll pause it and then we'll come back and we'll annotate the text together. All right. Is everybody there?
From part 4, Life in the Lower Part of Town. The two of us walked south on 5th Street one morning to the corner of Q Street and turned right. Half of the block was occupied by the Lincoln School. It was a 3-story wooden building with 2 wings that gave it the shape of a double T connected by a central hall. It was a new building, painted yellow with a shingled roof that was not like the red tile of the school in Moscow. I noticed other differences, none of them very reassuring. We walked up the wide staircase hand in hand and through the door, which closed by itself. A mechanical contraption screwed.
And click share, and hit optimize sound because they can't hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to, oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Isn't it this? Let's see, optimize sound.
Make sure both buttons are pressed.
New share, I press share, right? Oh no. Uh-oh, what did I do? Nope.
You still see your screen. Did you share?
I need to figure out how to do the sound really quick. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
So click share. On the bottom, you have 2
Optimize.
buttons to press.
There we go. And then share.
Now restart it.
Okay, so I'm gonna restart the reading. And then let me know if you can't hear it still or if you could hear it better.
From part 4, Life in the Lower Part of Town. The two of us walked south on 5th Street one morning to the corner of Q Street and turned right. Half of the block was occupied by the Lincoln School. It was a 3-story wooden building with 2 wings that gave it the shape of a double T connected by a central hall. It was a new building, painted yellow with a shingled roof that was not like the red tile of the school in Mazatlan. I noticed other differences, none of them very reassuring. We walked up the wide staircase hand in hand and through the door, which closed by itself. A mechanical contraption screwed to the top shut it behind us quietly. Up to this point, the adventure of enrolling me in the school had been carefully rehearsed. Mrs. Dodson had told us how to find it, and we had circled it several times on our walks. Friends in the barrio explained that the director was called a principal, and that it was a lady and not a man. They assured us that there was always a person at the school who could speak Spanish. Exactly as we had been told, there was a sign on the door in both Spanish and English, Principal. We crossed the hall and entered the office of Miss Nettie Hopley. Miss Hopley was at a roll-top desk to one side, sitting in a swivel chair that moved on wheels. There was a sofa against the opposite wall, flanked by 2 windows and a door that opened on a small balcony. Chairs were set around a table, and framed pictures hung on the walls of a man with long white hair and another with a sad face and a black beard. The principal half turned in the swivel chair to look at us over the pinched glasses crossed on the ridge of her nose. To do this, she had to duck her head slightly, as if she were about to step through a low doorway.
Okay, so I paused it so we could make some annotations. I'm scrolling up here. So when I first read this paragraph, I wanted to highlight first here where it says the two of us, because we know that this story is about Ernesto, but I wanted to know who's with him right now. So I'm questioning who is the other person with him. And so if you want to copy this, because this will be a part of our annotations. And then it's also in the chat too, so you could copy it from there as well. And then another place I wanted to highlight is where he says, it was a new building painted yellow with a shingled roof that was not like the red tile of the school in Mazatlan. I noticed other differences, none of them very reassuring. So he's comparing how the building is where this school, or yeah, he's describing the school, is different than what he would see where he grew up or where he's from. And that when he says it's not very reassuring, it made me feel that he kind of wasn't, I don't know, like he wasn't, so I'm tracking, let's put a T there first, that he wasn't very, maybe he wasn't really happy, or he was scared, or he was nervous. So track, he isn't sure of this new school, like he's scared. Okay, and then let's see, to this point I've been exactly. Oh, and then I also tracked that, okay, so we know that Ernesto's with somebody, and then down here they talk about somebody named Miss Nettie Hopley. So I just tracked that, oh, there's a new person, and that we still don't know who the second person is with Ernesto. So I could only infer, so I'm inferring that maybe it's his mom, because I know when you go to a new school, your parent usually goes with you. Okay. And so since I made 3 different annotations, I'm going to keep playing the narrator reading the story. And while they read the story, I want you to make your annotations. And then once you're done, we're going to come back. So stay on the Zoom call, and we're going to do a little bit of the summary together. So yeah, so I'm going to give you time to work. So I'm going to play this. You're going to make your annotations, and then we'll go and do the summary. Sounds good? All right, so I'm going to play it.
What Miss Hopley said to us we did not know, but we saw in her eyes a warm welcome, and when she took off her glasses and straightened up, she smiled wholeheartedly, like Mrs. Dodson. We were, of course, saying nothing, only catching the friendliness of her voice and the sparkle in her eyes while she said words we did not understand. She signaled us to the table. Almost tiptoeing across the office, I maneuvered myself to keep my mother between me and the gringo lady. In a matter of seconds, I had to decide whether she was a possible friend or a menace. We sat down. Then Miss Hopley did a formidable thing. She stood up. Had she been standing when we entered, she would have seemed tall. But rising from her chair, she soared. And what she carried up and up with her was a buxom superstructure, firm shoulders, a straight, sharp nose, full cheeks slightly molded by a curved line along the nostrils, thin lips that moved like steel springs, and a high forehead topped by hair gathered in a bun. Miss Hopley was not a giant in body, but when she mobilized it to a standing position, she seemed a match for giants. I decided I liked her. She strode to a door in the far corner of the office, opened it, and called a name. A boy of about 10 years appeared in the doorway. He sat down at one end of the table. He was brown like us, a plump kid with shiny black hair, combed straight back, neat, cool, and faintly obnoxious. Miss Hopley joined us with a large book and some papers in her hand. She too sat down, and the questions and answers began by way of our interpreter. My name was Ernesto. My mother's name was Henriqueta. My birth certificate was in San Blas. Here was my last report card from the Escuela Municipal Número 3 para Varones of Mazatlan, and so forth. Miss Hopley put things down in the book, and my mother signed a card. As long as the questions continued, Doña Henriqueta could stay, and I was secure. Now that they were over, Miss Hopley saw her to the door, dismissed our interpreter, and without further ado took me by the hand and strode down the hall to Miss Ryan's first grade. Miss Ryan took me to a seat at the front of the room, into which I shrank, the better to survey her. She was, to skinny, somewhat runty me, of a withering height when she patrolled the class, and when I least expected it, there she was, crouching by my desk, her blonde, radiant face level with mine, her voice patiently maneuvering me over the awful idiocies of the English language. During the next few weeks, Miss Ryan overcame my fears of tall, energetic teachers as she bent over my desk to help me with a word in the pre-primer. Step by step, she loosened me and my classmates from the safe anchorage of the desks for recitations at the blackboard and consultations at her desk. Frequently, she burst into happy announcements to the whole class. Ito can read a sentence, and small Japanese Ito, squint-eyed and shy, slowly read aloud while the class listened in wonder. Come, Skipper, come and run. The Korean, Portuguese, Italian, and Polish first graders had similar moments of glory, no less shining than mine the day I conquered butterfly, which I had been persistently pronouncing in standard Spanish as butterfly. Children, Miss Ryan called for attention. Ernesto has learned how to pronounce butterfly, and I proved it with a perfect imitation of Miss Ryan. From that celebrated success, I was soon able to match Ito's progress as a sentence reader with, "Come, butterfly, come fly with me." Like Ito and several other first graders who did not know English, I received private lessons from Miss Ryan in the closet, a narrow hall off the classroom with a door at each end. Next to one of these doors, Miss Ryan placed a large chair for herself and a small one for me. Keeping an eye on the class through the open door, she read with me about sheep in the meadow and a frightened chicken going to see the king, coaching me out of my phonetic ruts in words like pasture, bow wow wow, hay, and pretty, which to my Mexican ear and eye had so many unnecessary sounds and letters. She made me watch her lips and then close my eyes as she repeated words I found hard to read. When we came to know each other better, I tried interrupting to tell Miss Ryan how we said it in Spanish. It didn't work. She only said, "Oh," and went on with pasture, bow wow wow, and pretty. It was as if in that closet we were both discovering together the secrets of the English language and grieving together over the tragedies of Bo Peep. The main reason I was graduated with honors from the first grade was that I had fallen in love with Miss Ryan. Her radiant, no-nonsense character made us either afraid not to love her, or love her so we would not be afraid. I am not sure which. It was not only that we sensed she was with it, but also that she was with us. Like the first grade, the rest of the Lincoln School was a sampling of the lower part of town where many races made their home. My pals in the second grade were Kazushi, whose parents spoke only Japanese, Mati, a skinny Italian boy, and Manuel, a fat Portuguese who would never get into a fight but wrestled you to the ground and just sat on you. Our assortment of nationalities included Koreans, Yugoslavs, Poles, Irish, and homegrown Americans. Miss Hopley and her teachers never let us forget why we were at Lincoln. For those who were alien, to become good Americans. For those who were so born, to accept the rest of us. Off the school grounds we traded the same insults we heard from our elders. On the playground, we were sure to be marched up to the principal's office for calling someone a wop, a chink, a dago, or a greaser. The school was not so much a melting pot as a griddle where Miss Hopley and her helpers warmed knowledge into us and roasted racial hatreds out of us. At Lincoln, Making us into Americans did not mean scrubbing away what made us originally foreign. The teachers called us as our parents did, or as close as they could pronounce our names in Spanish or Japanese. No one was ever scolded or punished for speaking in his native tongue on the playground. Matty told the class about his mother's down quilt, which she had made in Italy with the fine feathers of 1,000 geese. Encarnacion acted out how boys learn to fish in the Philippines. I astounded the third grade with the story of my travels on a stagecoach, which nobody in the class had seen except in the museum at Sutter's Fort. After a visit to the Crocker Art Gallery and its collection of heroic paintings of the golden age of California, someone showed a silk scroll with a Chinese painting. Miss Hopley herself had a way of expressing wonder over these matters before a class, her eyes wide open until they popped slightly. It was easy for me to feel that becoming a proud American, as she said we should, did not mean feeling ashamed of being a Mexican.
So if you didn't finish your 5 annotations, you're going to use that, or you're going to do that independently because we're about to move on. But I just wanted to show you. So after you're done,
Exit your full screen, it's really blurry. Exit your full screen, it's really blurry on their end. Ooh,
is that better?
no, hit share screen again. Maybe stop share and then go back in, like they can't, it's so blurry, we can't read your screen.
Okay, so stop sharing
Now share again.
and then share screen.
Much better.
Better? Okay. Okay, sorry. So since that, you could see that. So if you go to that tab that shows Study Sync, at the bottom, it shows you to submit assignment. So that's how you're gonna submit your 5 annotations, okay? So tell me in the chat, yes, if you see that where you submit, or tell me where you submit your 5 annotations quickly. Yes, thank you, Brandon. Yes, Mason. Jay, good job. Nicholas. Okay, so now I want you to pop back to Canvas. Oh, let's exit out of that. Good. Okay. Oh, let's go. There we go. And then go to ELA, back to current modules. And then I want you to click on Barrio Boy Summary. And so once you're there, let's see if I could do that. Can you still see it? Is that okay? The quality okay when I make it big screen?
No.
No?
That's when it went away.
Okay, so, oh.
And now it's really blurry again.
So there's a link that says load Barrio Boy Summary in a new window. If you're there, I want you to click on that. And then this will pop up. This is just like your other assignments where when you finish it, a submit button should appear here in the top right corner, and then it'll tell you over here in the left corner, like, oh, you submitted at 1 o'clock today, if that's the time for you. So we're gonna get started on filling this in, filling a few in, and then you guys are going to do this. Do we have, oh yeah, we have 10 minutes. So this first section here, we have a word that says somebody. Somebody is asking, who is the main character of Barrio Boy? In the second column here, we have a sentence starter. You don't have to use it, but it's to help you form your sentence for your answer here in the third column. So I still have this typed in. I just realized that. Okay, so if anybody could type in the chat and tell me who the main character is in Barrio Boy. Barrio Boy is about who? Yes, Ernesto. So I would use my sentence starter. Barrio Boy is about Ernesto Galarza. And then I want you to type that. Since I'm typing it, you're typing it, okay? Yep, thank you, Sophie and Peyton and Brayden. And then down here, wanted. What was the main character doing or wanted? So our sentence starter shows us 3 different blanks. Let's start on the first one. So Ernesto was blank to a new. So how was Ernesto feeling when he, in the beginning of the in the beginning of the excerpt? What was one of those annotations that I highlighted that you highlighted too? Oops, Sophie, yes, he was scared. So Ernesto was scared. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, that's the but. Okay, I'm gonna save that and I'm gonna use your answer, Sophie. Let me restate this again. Ernesto was blank to a new blank in a different school. So he was, what was he doing? So he came from Mexico. What was that action called? What was him and his family doing? Can anybody think of what that word is? He was moving. There you go. Ernesto was moving to a new. So what would be the second one? Where was he moving to? To a new school, Brandon, okay? To a new school in a different, so he was comparing, yes, Sophie, country. So in a new country. Nice, thank you. So then, but we'll do the first 2 blanks and then the rest you'll do on your own. So what problem did the main character encounter? Ernesto was blank to be in a blank school. So that's the one Sophie told us earlier. Ernesto was scared to be in a, and then what would the second blank be? A blank school. So
English.
say it, a new school. Yeah. So Ernesto was scared to be in a new school. And then I heard, I'm not sure who unmuted, but that would be the third part. So you got that. And so now that we did those, I want you guys to finish the rest for your asynchronous work. And remember that this is going to be due on Thursday. But I also wanted to remind you that you have to do your Easy CBM vocab too and submit that. All right.
Show them how to do that. They haven't done it.
I need to go to Canvas. So if you go next on Canvas, it'll show you how to do the Easy CBM to get to the Easy CBM vocab. Oh, it keeps going that way. So up here, it shows you some tips, but here's the steps. So when you sign in your Chromebook, you're going to use your regular password. Tells you to go to Symbaloo and to click on the Easy CBM symbol. But once you're in, it's going to ask you some questions. So it's going to ask your name, and then it's going to ask the teacher's name. So Mrs. Hunter, it's not going to be Mrs. Hunter. It's going to be D. Marshik, her maiden name. So I wanted to remind you about that because you might put Hunter and then it get all confusing. I don't want you to get confused. And then below here, it shows you where to go. So when you select your period from the drop menu, you're going to select your period from the drop menu. You're going to put your name, and then the test for today is Vocabulary 7 Fall. You're going to take your test, and you're going to follow all the instructions, all the instructions from me. Does anybody have any questions or want me to slow down? No? All right. So now that you know what you're supposed to do for asynchronous, before I let you go, can you guys, or as you leave, type in the chat what you're going to be working on for your asynchronous work? So your CBM, yep, that's one of them. Okay, thank you, Brayden. See ya. So you're typing in the chat what you're going to be working on today for your asynchronous work. Doesn't have to be all. Just type in CBM, borrow boy summary. Yep. And then if you didn't finish your annotations too during class, that would be something else you would work on too. CBM, thanks Will, thanks Brandon, thanks Ryan. Brandon. Okay, yep, you got it. Thank you, Jake. All right, so if you guys are ready, you could go, or you could just work and annotation. Thanks, Nick. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Go to 5th period. Bye. Bye, Bren. Bye, Sophie. Bye, Will. Bye, Elias. Bye, Taz. Bye, Claudia. Bye, Logan. Bye, Ryan.
Reaching them and then come on.
All right, guys. So if you don't have any questions, we only have a minute left. You have to go to your 5th period class. If you don't, I'm going to kick you out. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, there we go. Bye, Claudia. Bye, Ryan. Go to your 5th.